Queen Elizabeth II, the longest-serving head of the Commonwealth, was in office for 70 years. Under the formula of the London Declaration, Charles III is the head of the Commonwealth. When the monarch dies, the successor to the crown does not automatically become the new head of the Commonwealth. However, at their meeting in April 2018, Commonwealth leaders agreed that Prince Charles should succeed his mother Elizabeth II as head after her death. The position is symbolic, representing the free association of independent members, the majority of which, 36, are republics, and 5 have monarchs of different royal houses: Brunei, Eswatini, Lesotho, Malaysia, and Tonga. The main decision-making forum of the organization is the biennial Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOGM, where Commonwealth Heads of Government, including, amongst others, Prime Ministers and Presidents, assemble for several days to discuss matters of mutual interest. CHOGM is the successor to the Commonwealth Prime Ministers' meetings and, earlier, the Imperial Conferences and Colonial Conferences, dating back to 1887. There are also regular meetings of finance ministers, law ministers, health ministers, etc. Members in arrears, as special members before them, are not invited to send representatives to either ministerial meetings or CHOGMs. The head of government hosting the CHOGM is called the Chair in Office, CIO, and retains the position until the following CHOGM. Since the most recent CHOGM, in Rwanda in 2022, the Chair in Office has been the President of Rwanda. The 26th CHOGM was initially to be held in Kigali, Rwanda, in June 2020. Owing to the COVID-19 pandemic, it was rescheduled to be held there in the week of June 21, 2021 before again being postponed to 25 to 26 June 2022. It was accompanied by meetings of a Commonwealth Business Forum, a Commonwealth Youth Forum, a Commonwealth Women's Forum and a Commonwealth People's Forum. The Commonwealth Secretariat, established in 1965, is the main intergovernmental agency of the Commonwealth, facilitating consultation and cooperation among member governments and countries. 50. It is responsible to member governments collectively. The Commonwealth of Nations is represented in the United Nations General Assembly by the Secretariat as an observer. The Secretariat organizes Commonwealth summits, meetings of ministers, consultative meetings, and technical discussions. It assists policy development and provides policy advice, and facilitates multilateral communication among the member governments. It also provides technical assistance to help governments in the social and economic development of their countries and in support of the Commonwealth's fundamental political values. The Secretariat is headed by the Commonwealth Secretary-General, who is elected by the Commonwealth Heads of Government for no more than 2 4-year terms. The Secretary-General and 2 Deputy Secretaries-General direct the divisions of the Secretariat. The present Secretary-General is Patricia Scotland, Baroness Scotland of Asthull, from Dominica, who took office on April 1, 2016, succeeding Kamlesh Sharma of India, 2008 to 2016. The first Secretary-General was Arnold Smith of Canada, 1965 to 75, followed by Sir Shridath Ramphal of Guyana, 1975 to 90, Chief Emeka Enyeku of Nigeria, 1990 to 99, and Don McKinnon of New Zealand, 2000 to 2008. Initially, Commonwealth countries were not considered to be foreign to each other as their citizens were British subjects. Citizenship laws have evolved independently in each Commonwealth country. For example, in Australia, for the purpose of considering certain constitutional and legal provisions, no distinction is made between Commonwealth and foreign countries. In the High Court case of Sue v. Hill, other Commonwealth countries, specifically, the United Kingdom, were held to be foreign powers. Similarly, in Nolan v. Minister for Immigration and Ethnic Affairs, the nationals of other Commonwealth realms were held to be aliens. Nevertheless, some members treat resident citizens of other Commonwealth countries preferentially to citizens of non-Commonwealth countries. The United Kingdom and several others, mostly in the Caribbean, grant the right to vote to Commonwealth citizens who reside in those countries. The closer association amongst Commonwealth countries is reflected in the diplomatic protocols of the Commonwealth countries. For example, when engaging bilaterally with one another, Commonwealth governments exchange high commissioners instead of ambassadors. 55 In non-Commonwealth countries in which their own country is not represented, Commonwealth citizens may seek consular assistance at the British Embassy, although it is for the embassy to decide, in its discretion, whether to provide any. Other alternatives can also occur, such as the Consular Services Agreement between Canada and Australia that began in 1986. The criteria for membership of the Commonwealth of Nations have developed over time from a series of separate documents. The Statute of Westminster 1931, as a fundamental founding document of the organization, laid out that membership required dominionhood. The 1949 London Declaration ended this, allowing Republican and Indigenous monarchic members on the condition that they recognized King George VI as head of the Commonwealth. In the wake of the wave of decolonization in the 1960s, these constitutional principles were augmented by political, economic, and social principles. The first of these was set out in 1961, when it was decided that respect for racial equality would be a requirement for membership, leading directly to the withdrawal of South Africa's reapplication, which they were required to make under the formula of the London Declaration upon becoming a republic. The 14 points of the 1971 Singapore Declaration dedicated all members to the principles of world peace, liberty, human rights, equality, and free trade. These criteria were unenforceable for 2 decades, until, in 1991, the Harare Declaration was issued, dedicating the leaders to applying the Singapore principles to the completion of decolonization, the end of the Cold War, and the end of apartheid in South Africa. The mechanisms by which these principles would be applied were created, and the manner clarified, by the 1995 Millbrook Commonwealth Action Programme, which created the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group, CMAG, which has the power to rule on whether members meet the requirements for membership under the Harare Declaration. Also in 1995, an intergovernmental group was created to finalize and codify the full requirements for membership. Upon reporting in 1997, as adopted under the Edinburgh Declaration, the intergovernmental group ruled that any future members would as a rule have to have a direct constitutional link with an existing member. In addition to this new rule, the former rules were consolidated into a single document. These requirements are that members must accept and comply with the Harare Principles, be fully sovereign states, recognize King Charles III as head of the Commonwealth, accept the English language as the means of Commonwealth communication, and respect the wishes of the general population with regard to Commonwealth membership. These requirements had undergone review, and a report on potential amendments was presented by the Committee on Commonwealth Membership at the 2007 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. New members were not admitted at this meeting, though applications for admission were considered at the 2009 CHOGM. New members must, as a general rule, have a direct constitutional link to an existing member. In most cases, this is due to being a former colony of the United Kingdom, but some have links to other countries, either exclusively or more directly, example Bangladesh to Pakistan, Samoa to New Zealand, Papua New Guinea to Australia, and Singapore to Malaysia. The first member to be admitted without having any constitutional link to the British Empire was Mozambique in 1995 following its first democratic elections. Mozambique was a former Portuguese colony, and the Edinburgh Declaration and the current membership guidelines came after its entry. In 2009, Rwanda became the second Commonwealth member admitted not to have any constitutional links to Britain. It was a Belgian trust territory that had been a district of German East Africa until World War I. Consideration for Rwanda's admission was considered an exceptional circumstance by the Commonwealth Secretariat. Rwanda was permitted to join despite the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, CRI, finding that the state of governance and human rights in Rwanda does not satisfy Commonwealth standards, and that it does not therefore qualify for admission. CRI commented that, it does not make sense to admit a state that already does not satisfy Commonwealth standards. This would tarnish the reputation of the Commonwealth and confirm the opinion of many people and civic organizations that the leaders of its governments do not really care for democracy and human rights, and that its periodic, solemn declarations are merely hot air. In 2022, Togo, a former French Mandate territory, and Gabon, a former French colony, joined the Commonwealth, despite never having been under British rule. Gabon was partially suspended from the Commonwealth on September 18, 2023 following the military coup that ousted President Ali Bongo the previous month, with 2 years given by the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group for the country to hold new elections before a full suspension of Commonwealth membership would be considered. The Commonwealth comprises 56 countries, across all inhabited continents. The members have a combined population of 2.4 billion people, almost a third of the world population, with 1.6 billion living in India and Pakistan, and 94% living in either Asia or Africa. After India, the next largest Commonwealth countries by population are Pakistan, 227 million, Nigeria, 213 million, Bangladesh, 167 million, and the United Kingdom, 68 million. Tuvalu is the smallest member, with about 12,000 people. The land area of the Commonwealth nations is about 31,500,000 square kilometers, 12,200,000 square miles, or about 21% of the total world land area. The two largest Commonwealth nations by area are Canada at 9,984,670 square kilometers, 3,855,100 square miles, and Australia at 7,617,930 square kilometers, 2,941,300 square miles. The status of member in arrears is used to denote those that are in arrears in paying subscription dues. The status was originally known as special membership, but was renamed on the Committee on Commonwealth Membership's recommendation. There are currently no members in arrears. The most recent member in arrears, Nauru, returned to full membership in June 2011. Nauru has alternated between special and full membership since joining the Commonwealth, depending on its financial situation. In 2019, the Commonwealth members had a combined gross domestic product of over $9 trillion, 78% of which is accounted for by the four largest economies: India, $3.737 trillion, United Kingdom, $3.124 trillion, Canada, $1.652 trillion, and Australia, $1.379 trillion. In 1997, the Commonwealth heads of government agreed that, to become a member of the Commonwealth, an applicant country should, as a rule, have had a constitutional association with an existing Commonwealth member, that it should comply with Commonwealth values, principles, and priorities as set out in the Harare Declaration, and that it should accept Commonwealth norms and conventions. 81. South Sudanese politicians have expressed interest in joining the Commonwealth. A senior Commonwealth source stated in 2006 that many people have assumed an interest from Israel, but there has been no formal approach. Israel and Palestine are both potential candidates for membership. President Yahya Jammeh unilaterally withdrew the Gambia from the Commonwealth in October 2013. However, newly elected President Adama Barrow returned the country to the organization in February 2018. Other eligible applicants could be any of the remaining inhabited British overseas territories, Crown dependencies, Australian external territories, and the associated states of New Zealand if they become fully independent. Many such jurisdictions are already directly represented within the Commonwealth, particularly through the Commonwealth family. There are also former British possessions that have not become independent. Although Hong Kong has become part of China, it continues to participate in some of the institutions within the Commonwealth family, including the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the Association of Commonwealth Universities, the Commonwealth Association of Legislative Council, and the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, CWGC. All three of the Crown dependencies regard their existing situation as unsatisfactory and have lobbied for change. The states of Jersey have called on the UK Foreign Secretary to request that the Commonwealth heads of government consider granting associate membership to Jersey and the other Crown dependencies as well as any other territories at a similarly advanced stage of autonomy. Jersey has proposed that it be accorded self-representation in all Commonwealth meetings, full participation in debates and procedures, with the right to speak where relevant and the opportunity to enter into discussions with those who are full members, and no right to vote in the ministerial or heads of government meetings, which is reserved for full members. The states of Guernsey and the government of the Isle of Man have made calls of a similar nature for a more integrated relationship with the Commonwealth, including more direct representation and enhanced participation in Commonwealth organisations and meetings, including Commonwealth heads of government meetings. The Chief Minister of the Isle of Man has said, a closer connection with the Commonwealth itself would be a welcome further development of the island's international relationships. Members can be suspended from the councils of the Commonwealth for serious or persistent violations of the Harare Declaration, particularly in abrogating their responsibility to have democratic government. Suspensions are agreed by the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group, CMAG, which meets regularly to address potential breaches of the Harare Declaration. Suspended members are not represented at meetings of Commonwealth leaders and ministers, although they remain members of the organization. Nigeria was suspended between November 11, 1995 and May 29, 1999, following its execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa on the eve of the 1995 CHOGM. Pakistan was the second country to be suspended, on October 18, 1999, following the military coup by Pervez Musharraf. The Commonwealth's longest suspension came to an end on May 22, 2004, when Pakistan's suspension was lifted following the restoration of the country's constitution. Pakistan was suspended for a second time, far more briefly, for 6 months from November 22, 2007, when Musharraf called a state of emergency. Zimbabwe was suspended in 2002 over concerns regarding the electoral and land reform policies of Robert Mugabe's ZANU-PF government, before it withdrew from the organization in 2003. On May 15, 2018, Zimbabwe applied to rejoin the Commonwealth. The declaration of a republic in Fiji in 1987, after military coups designed to deny Indo-Fijians political power, was not accompanied by an application to remain. Commonwealth membership was held to have lapsed until 1997, after discriminatory provisions in the Republican Constitution were repealed and reapplication for membership made. Fiji has since been suspended twice, with the first imposed from June 6, 2000 to December 20, 2001 after another coup. Fiji was suspended yet again in December 2006, following the most recent coup. At first, the suspension applied only to membership on the councils of the Commonwealth. After failing to meet a Commonwealth deadline for setting a date for national elections by 2010, Fiji was fully suspended on September 1, 2009. The Secretary-General of the Commonwealth, Kamlesh Sharma, confirmed that full suspension meant that Fiji would be excluded from Commonwealth meetings, sporting events, and the Technical Assistance Program, with an exception for assistance in re-establishing democracy. Sharma stated that Fiji would remain a member of the Commonwealth during its suspension, but would be excluded from emblematic representation by the Secretariat. On March 19, 2014, Fiji's full suspension was amended to a suspension from councils of the Commonwealth by the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group, permitting Fiji to join a number of Commonwealth activities, including the Commonwealth Games. 107 Fiji's suspension was lifted in September 2014. The Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group fully reinstated Fiji as a member following elections in September 2014. Most recently, during 2013 and 2014, international pressure mounted to suspend Sri Lanka from the Commonwealth, citing grave human rights violations by the government of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. There were also calls to change the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting 2013 from Sri Lanka to another member country. Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper threatened to boycott the event, but was instead represented at the meeting by Deepak Abhayatre. UK Prime Minister David Cameron also chose to attend. These concerns were rendered moot by the election of opposition leader Maithripala Sirisena as president in 2015. As membership is purely voluntary, member governments can choose at any time to leave the Commonwealth. The first state to do so was Ireland in 1949 following its decision to declare itself a republic, although it had not participated in the Commonwealth since 1932. At the time, all members accepted the British monarch as head of state as a condition of membership. This rule was changed after Ireland's departure to allow India to retain membership when it became a republic in 1950, although Ireland did not rejoin. Now, the majority of the Commonwealth members, including all those from Africa, are republics or have their own native monarch. Pakistan left on January 30, 1972 in protest at the Commonwealth's recognition of breakaway Bangladesh, but rejoined on August 2, 1989. Zimbabwe's membership was suspended in 2002 on the grounds of alleged human rights violations and deliberate misgovernment, and Zimbabwe's government terminated its membership in 2003. The Gambia left the Commonwealth on October 3, 2013, and rejoined on February 8, 2018. The Maldives withdrew from the Commonwealth on October 13, 2016, citing Commonwealth's punitive actions against the Maldives since 2012 after the allegedly forced resignation of Maldivian President Mohamed Nasheed among the reasons for withdrawal. Following the election of Ibrahim Mohamed Solih as president in November 2018, the Maldives announced its intention to reapply to join the Commonwealth. They rejoined on February 1, 2020. Although heads of government have the power to suspend member states from active participation, the Commonwealth has no provision for the expulsion of members. South Africa was barred from continuing as a member after it became a republic in 1961, due to hostility from many members, particularly those in Africa and Asia as well as Canada, to its policy of racial apartheid. The South African government withdrew its application to remain in the organization as a republic when it became clear at the 1961 Commonwealth Prime Ministers' Conference that any such application would be rejected. South Africa was readmitted to the Commonwealth in 1994, following its first multiracial elections that year. The transfer of sovereignty over Hong Kong in 1997 ended the territory's status as a part of the Commonwealth through the United Kingdom. Non-sovereign states or regions are not permitted to become members of the Commonwealth. The government of China has not pursued membership. Hong Kong has nevertheless continued to participate in some of the organizations of the Commonwealth family, such as the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, hosted the Commonwealth Lawyers Conference in 1983 and 2009, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, and the Westminster Seminar on Parliamentary Practice and Procedures, the Association of Commonwealth Universities and the Commonwealth Association of Legislative Council, as well as the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, CWGC. Thank you for watching this part of the video.